Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with New York City jazz saxophonist Helena Kay. We spoke with her in May 2020 about this new COVID-19 world. She grew up in Perth, Scotland, and moved to London in 2012. And since then, she has gone on to some wondrous things in the world of jazz and beyond. Enjoy.
So what have you been doing to creatively keep yourself busy?
I've just been practicing a lot. I've been learning some solos that I didn't have time to work on so seriously before. Just trying to get better at the saxophone as always. but I've been working on some solos, getting more into rhythm changes. Just working on the basics. And actually, recently I did a recording remotely, of course, with the bass player in my band, Kaisa Maintavu. She's from Finland. Yeah, and we recorded my most recent composition. So that was really fun, and that was a good thing to work towards.
Talk to me a little bit about your childhood, where you grew up, and kind of how the jazz seeds began for you.
So I grew up in Perth in Scotland. I started on piano because my dad, there's a piano at home, and my dad plays a little bit of piano, and his dad played piano. He was really into Teddy Wilson, so he played like swing, kind of, I guess you'd describe it as swing piano. He didn't really improvise so much, but he played all those great songs. So I was exposed to that music a little bit, whenever I'd visit my granddad. But yeah, so I started on piano, and then violin was what was offered at school, so I picked up the violin. And then I just heard a saxophone on a recording at home, and just fell in love with the sound of it, so begged my parents to let me start playing the saxophone. And then my first saxophone teacher in Perth, Jim Morris, he's really into jazz, so he started me off in that direction. And then there wasn't so much jazz happening in Perth itself. So after a few years of learning, I started playing when I was about 11, and then after a couple of years, someone told me about the Fife Youth Jazz Orchestra, which took place in Cowdenbeath. So every Thursday night I'd get the train over and then get picked up by my dad, and then so it was a bit of a mission to get there, but it was definitely worth it. And that was big band rehearsals every week, led by Richard Michael, who's a fantastic piano player and educator in Scotland. So that was really helpful. And that after a while of going to Fife Youth Jazz Orchestra every week, I just over time fell in love with the music.
I always hear London we all know London is such a great cauldron of music. What was your time in London like? How much did you grow as a musician?
Definitely a lot. It was a big change going from a small kind of quiet city like Perth to London, where everything was happening, and I didn't go to a music school before that, so there wasn't really anyone around to sort of play jazz with, apart from at the Fife Youth Jazz Orchestra, of course. But yeah, it was just amazing suddenly being surrounded by all these like-minded musicians and people, and having access to all these amazing teachers as well. And also, just being able to go out and hear amazing live music a lot. It was a really exciting time, and I learned a lot while I was at Guildhall.
What was the first live jazz show you ever saw that made you think, man, this is something I might want to do?
I don't think I can remember, actually. It was more, in the very beginning, it was recordings, really. I heard my first teacher gave me some Charlie Parker recordings, which at first I just thought they sounded so old and scratchy. I hadn't really listened to music like that before. But I fell in love with it after a while. And then I got really into Lee Konitz, and there's this record, Konitz Meets Mulligan. I fell in love with that. I was playing alto at the time. So I was really into that kind of sound. I was like Lee Konitz and Art Pepper and Cannonball and those guys.
What do you like the best about being a musician?
I think one of the things is just being around musicians all the time. And there are a lot of amazing people. Yeah, I think I can just relate to other musicians, and they're just great, really great people. Yeah, it's a really great feeling when you're playing music live with other people, And if you're really improvising or trying to make something in the moment with other people, there's something really special about that. So yeah, I love playing and performing with other people, and sharing the music with an audience too.
So why do you love jazz?
To me, it's joyful a lot of the time. Yeah, it brings me joy. It brings me a lot of joy. Some jazz, you just want to dance to it. You can feel it more so than other types of music for me. Yeah, and just playing it with other people is the best feeling in the world.
What memories of either being on stage or playing with other musicians are you drawing on right now? Really seminal moments for you during this quarantine, because it has to be hard not being able to perform live. Are there any particular memories that are keeping you afloat?
Yeah, I'm really missing playing with other people. I had a few gigs lined up at Bar Next Door with my trio, and we'd done a couple just before the lockdown. Yeah, so they were really fun. I love that venue. It's a really intimate room. That's a really nice place to play. Yeah, so those gigs I've been thinking about just because they were the most recent ones pre-lockdown. I guess other highlights have been, I had a really good tour at the end of 2018. This was actually with my London-based band, with Ferg Ireland on bass and David Ingemills on drums. They're both based in London. And yeah, we had this tour to launch my debut album called Moon Palace. So we were playing all around the UK. But yeah, that was a really special time because I guess it can be kind of rare to have so many consecutive gigs with the same people, playing the same music every night, and and just really getting somewhere really quickly with new material. So that was really exciting. And it's something I'd love to do again, if possible.
Well, and speaking of, we're going to get to the end of this and live music will pick back up post-COVID-19. What do you hope the musician and the audience realizes from this absence of live music?
So I guess with a lot of things that we're not able to do at the moment, I think, musicians and hopefully audiences will be just missing it a lot. And when we are able to play again, we'll sort of be, for a while at least, more appreciative of all the things that we're able to do and the things that we weren't able to do during this time. Yeah, and also because I guess we still have access to recorded music, and a lot of musicians I know have been doing live streams online, which is great. But yeah, I guess nothing really beats being in the same room with the audience and with the musicians too. So hopefully people realize that it's a really special thing to be able to share live music in the same room. One of the notable things with the live streams is obviously there's no applause, so there's just this kind of quiet moment after each tune. But yeah, hopefully everyone will appreciate, and musicians too appreciate people coming out and hearing the music.
So finally, I want to ask, everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your fan base, but you're the one living your life. Who do you think you are?
Mm-hmm. Who do I think I am? Oh my goodness, that's quite a hard question. I guess first and foremost, I see myself as a musician. I play my saxophone nearly every day, so it's really my main thing. I guess it has most of an impact on myself, but I suppose if people check out my music and enjoy it, and it gives something to them, then that's fantastic. Yeah, that's a really good thing.
Yeah,
I think jazz is really important. I don't know if I'm sort of having a huge impact on the world, I'm not super famous or anything, but if my music has an impact on those it does reach, then that's a really wonderful thing.
That's a great answer. Hey, thank you for taking a minute out for Neon Jazz. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to talk to you.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in Australia, London, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Helena for her time, honesty, and story. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com. And for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.